Good evening from the Rooster Inn Observatory. I'm trying to get things going here. I wonder if we're going to be able to do some guiding. So I can capture some of the Rosette Nebula in very high resolution. Connect all. The guiding camera is not happy. Okay, this is gonna have to wait till another day. Let's see if we do have NGC2244 to 244. And then plate solve it. We're good. Let's see if we can live stack it. I have 1 second here. I'd like to go a lot longer than that. Let's see what 4 seconds gives us. Let me stop for a second. We shall come back to live stack. I'd like to go to about 300 gain and see if 8 seconds will do the job. This may actually do it. 15 seconds. All right. That should do. Especially if we go with live stack, including enabling image correction when it exceeds 100 pixels. Clear and resume. Come on. That's more like it. Okay, we are stacking. I want to see if sharp cap stack is usable for HOIs. Let me just verify that NGC2244 is indeed the HOIs target, because that will be embarrassing if it's not. Space, HOIs, targets. (2244) is indeed a target. (15) is not happy. I'm going to drop down to 8 and increase. Alright, this is clear. Let's see if it's going to stack it. It is stacking, okay. So here's the plan for the night. We're gonna try to get a HOIs target, in this case NGC2244. Rosette Nebula is well positioned. I will check on the histogram momentarily. Couple of the nice things about Sharp Cap is the auto color balance to make sure the stars are white, and the auto stretch of the histogram. It does allow us to adjust as needed both the black level and the mid levels. But for now, initially, I'm going to go with white balance on stars and auto stretch, and let it stack for a little bit. I tried to pick a target that is as far away from the moon as possible. In the meantime, Seestar is enjoying a look at the moon. I want to try the stack with the moon. Oh, this is nice. Nicely focused. It's saving it right here. Okay. Good evening, dear crew. I'm trying to use the big scope to image NGC2244, and right now Seestar is staring at the moon. Very shortly Seestar will leave the moon and go to M78. If you pay close attention to what the big scope is doing, it is unguided, and sharp cap will plate solve and move it back whenever there is an error of more than 100 pixels. I am perplexed with the very bright stars as to how badly shaped they are. I don't know if I can reject these. And I have the ability to adjust the histogram as needed. One of the beauties of sharp cap is its ability to correct the colors either by lining up the three colors or by picking a star and making it white and adjusting accordingly. That is probably the closer right now, but given that it's not dark enough yet, I'm going to stick with this for now and do my own stretching. I cannot see any nebulosity yet. Maybe we are zoomed in too far. I'm just trying to capture a FITS file that is a stack of one of the hoist targets. There it goes recentering. I don't know how often it is recentering, but we'll keep an eye on that. So here we are with effectively my two favorite scopes today. I'm still besides myself how beautiful that Jupiter at noon images ended up being. And as soon as the moon is high enough, we're going to try to go after the blue lake one more time. This time I plan to stack a couple of thousand frames and see if we can resolve the blue lake within the Ina crater. So that's the big plan. Once we're done with the moon, at 7 o'clock, comet Kushida is going to be within sight. It is 7 o'clock, okay. Let's get going to comet Kushida. So we're going to be done with the moon. Goodbye moon. We'll come back to the moon early and often. Sky Atlas. Search. Comets. (144p) Kushida. I have the coordinates from the Sky Live. There she is. Center. 505. See, this is where it gets tricky. I have 519. This one has 505. and I have 1713, it has 1704. So we're talking about an error that will 5 minutes, 14-minute error. We should still be okay. Let's see if we find it. So there is a 14-minute discrepancy between the Sky Live and Seestar. Let's hope that's not too much of an issue. It thinks it found it. Let's see if it did. Alright, now it's gonna go through horizontal calibration. I already adjusted the focus this evening, so we should be good for a little bit. That's a good question. I believe they are. Both of them get their coordinates from the GPS. But let me double check. You have a good point there. Stand by. Okay, we're unable to stack here. We have 13 minutes. Unable to align. There we go. Let's see if it's gonna stack next. The sky tonight is using Syracuse, and Seestar is using Pompey, so there are 13 miles apart. I don't think it should matter much. We will find out very, very soon, because Kushida is very bright. Well, we're experimenting with being more user-friendly. I have to use a red light, obviously. Okay, let's start stacking. No, we are stacking. Continue. I debated whether to use up real estate to put my face up, but with two streams, with two scopes, there is a hole up there, so I'm using it. Good morning, Scotland. Well, thank you. When I decided to retire 2 years ago, I had no idea what I was going to do with my time. I had been playing with telescopes for a few years, but did not expect that I would be going live and streaming everything that the scopes see, so I have no regret here. It has been fun. By the way, I don't see a comet. I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and if nothing shows up, we will hop onto M78 and get some hoist data. I don't know if I have any family in Turkey. My grandfather traveled a lot, and rumor has it that he had children in every continent, so I don't know. I cannot rule it out. Are you talking about smart telescope making Turkish people look better, or what? What are you implying? Oh yes, the hobby. Yes, it does. Before Stellina, I did not mind capturing hours and hours of data and then manually stacking and then post-processing. But I spent a lot more time doing the computer stuff as opposed to doing the astronomy stuff. Yeah, I do not see a comet here. Okay, we're going to go to M78 and get some data for the University of Kent. Yeah, I was saying that 8 out of 10 times the coordinates, the comet coordinates in Seestar are not the same as the ones in any other online catalog. And when it's taking its time finding M78, the odds are very high that it's wrapping the cable around itself. Okay, we are done with the it has rejected the last 23 frames. It's not aligning. We're going to save it as a 16-bit stack, and then as a 32-bit stack. And we're going to get out of the live stack here. Now we're going to go to the moon to see if we can find the blue lake. It found the moon, all right. And Seestar found M78. Okay. It is a nebula, so the filter will go on. We are good here. Let's capture till about 8 o'clock. In the meantime, make sure you don't blow yourself up with pyrotechnics. Long time ago, when I was still in my early teens, my grandfather, who had a farm, was being harassed by a woodchuck that had dug a hole in the garden and was digging more holes, so he asked me to get rid of it. I got a light bulb out of a flashlight, broke it. I emptied powder from a few shotgun cartridges, put the broken light bulb in the powder, and put two wires side by side with a battery next to the dirt mound. And as soon as the woodchuck pushed it, the powder went boom. And we ended up with a very large hole in the ground. My grandfather was not amused, but that was my my first foray into, call it pyrotechnics or bomb making, whichever. All right, where is the blue lake? Okay, here we go. For those who are not familiar with the moon, inch by inch, This is exactly where the blue lake is. Right at the crosshair. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we are lunar tracking, which we are, and the boot that looks like a map of Italy inverted, right here is the blue lake. So we're going to use an 800 by 600 around the blue lake. Adjust the exposure to make it optimum. This is about right. And then go with, I'm going to go with 5,000 frames, why not? We're capturing at 160 frames per second, so that should not take too long. We're already at 1,000. Two thousand. 3,000. 4,000 and 5,000 frames. Okay. Hello, Sydney. Let's see if we got the blue lake. Astro surface. Okay, our conversation has devolved to toilet roll. Where is my moon? All right, wrong name, right file. Yep, this is the moon. Okay, open it. It's an RG. Yep, this is the area of interest register. And we're gonna go with a select pattern. We're gonna try to focus on this guy here. Out of 5,000 frames, I'm gonna stack 50%. No, I did not. In the 80s, I was in the UK working on my PhD. I did not have the time or the money to do astronomy at the time. Okay, let's go with 24, 48. I'm gonna go 24. Let's stack it. Let's see what this is gonna give us. Edit. close it. Now I have a Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Engineering, and I did a PhD in Electrical Engineering at the University of Salford in Manchester, in Greater Manchester. Let's see if we can do the wavelets here. Reset. Select an ROI. Noise filter. And then the high frequency wavelets. Low frequency wavelets. In theory, this is where the blue lake is. I do not see blue, so we're not going to declare victory on this one. That's what I'm doing. If you see me looking up, I'm looking up to my, I think it's 43-inch monitor. In the meantime, M78 is doing just fine. One of the fun things to do with the big scope is to do a flyover over the moon by stopping the tracking and letting the moon move through. Let's see if that'll do it. And let's go back. There we go. You probably heard of the lunar landing on Thursday. The stock of the company, Intuitive Machines, went from about $7 to about $12 per share when they got word that the Odysseus had landed. And then when they learned that it had fallen on its side, the stock went back down from 12 to 6. These are the Pyrenees Mountains. What has been on your mind, Sydney? The flyover or the landing on the moon? And we're done. We'll enable tracking again. Ah. The concept of having a publicly traded company that can send vehicles to land on the moon, somehow the business model escapes me as to, unless they're able to bring things back from the moon, then don't know what the investors are getting. And if you look closely enough, you'll see where it landed. The Tycho crater. Now, if you don't mind me, I need to find out why PhD2 is unable to read the camera. If I go to ASI Studio, I can open it without any problem. But when I go to, let me go to a star somewhere, one that's not too bright. Okay, let's see if there are stars in there. Uh-oh. Okay. We may be in a situation where the moon is burning everything up. Let's go away this way. Alright, there are enough stars in here. PhD2 tools. Let's see if that's going to help. Okay, that's much better. All right. I have been having problems with SCOM. For some reason, CGX is not too happy. We're gonna test it and see if it's gonna work or not. This is the most critical step in the calibration. If it succeeds, we're in business. If it fails, we have a problem. Don't know why it picked a star. Yeah, of course, star lost because you're at the edge of the camera. Alright, we're gonna cancel and repeat it with the star up here. Stop. Loop, pick a star. Alright, that's more like it. Calibrate. Come on. Good evening, Charles. Yeah, the moon is bright. We just got off the moon, trying to grab at least one hoist target tonight. So I'm doing M78. while at the same time trying to get my 11-inch out of hibernation. I had put it away for the winter. As soon as it calibrates successfully, we will try to capture something with it. We were on the moon a little bit earlier and it looked good. Good evening, Jacob. Dear crew, after we parted this afternoon, I discovered to my pleasant surprise that the scope is able to find lots of stars during a broad daylight. Okay, we have a large deck backlash, that's fine. I was able to find Betelgeuse and then Bellatrix and basically a whole lot of stars that had a magnitude better than 2. Okay, we're guiding. If we are guiding, then I should be able to find something to image momentarily. What do we have up here? M67 or M48, NGC2903, (2539). I'm gonna go there, see if we can image it. The first thing to do is play it solve to make sure we're in the right place, and as soon as it yup, now it's gonna move it. And now I can get the auto guiding going. Good. And we can go back and start stacking. 2539. This is very low exposure. Let's see if what 4 seconds will give us. Okay, that's good. Live stack. Clear. Woohoo! Yes, yes, the 11-inch was able to look at stars during daylight. For those who have not seen my masterpiece from earlier this evening, let me pull it up. This was Jupiter taken at around 2 p.m. this afternoon, and Ganymede right next to it. Took 2000 frames at 150 frames per second and then stacked them, and there is no doubt that this is Jupiter. PhD2 is not doing too well. What do you mean lost connection to camera? Okay. One unfortunate consequence of having 11-degree temperature this morning after it was 45 yesterday is that the dome is frozen. I can open it, but I cannot rotate it. So I'm stuck with a narrow opening onto the east. So I cannot track targets beyond wherever they are. But this is still stacking, and it's a slightly cleaner stack than we had earlier with 2244. This is a very clean histogram. In the meantime, M78 is stacking away. Yeah, it is looking nice. I want to see if I can play around just a little bit with brightness and with contrast. Leaving it alone apparently is best. I'm imaging M78 for the HOIS project, so I will submit the data into the University of Kent database when we're done. Our weather forecast for tomorrow morning is supposed to be clear skies. Venus and Mars will be about 1.5 degrees apart. This morning we could not get them because of clouds, but tomorrow the forecast is more promising. So at around 5:50 they will both rise, and by about 6:05 I should be able to see them. I will have the dwarf on them and try to capture the conjunction. Seestar has too narrow of a field of view to be able to get them, and Stellina stands no chance in finding them in broad daylight. Okay, we're going to stop guiding. We're going to finish live stacking. And we're going to go to the other side. See if it's going to find either M101 or M51. What is it? Let's hope it's far enough from the moon so we can see it. I don't see anything. Alright, there it is. There she is. Okay. Obviously the moon is wreaking havoc, but let's see if we can stack them. We are recentering. Okay, we have recentered the target. Loop again. Select the star. No, I want to go with the bright star. And let's use it to guide. Okay, will it stack now? What's happening here? Okay, more like it. Now it's rejecting frames because it does not have enough light. Alright, let's go a bit. It's trying to look decent. It definitely looks different from what Seestar will show it to look or to be. This is what I was trying to accomplish with the big scope. Granted, M51 is not perfectly centered, but the arms are right there, and it's starting to show character that you would not get from DWARF or Seestar. The light gathering capability of an 11-inch is 30 times that of a 2-inch and 120 times that of a 1-inch. I mentioned that this is a new camera that I'm experimenting with, the ASI585. I used to have an ASI183, but the amp glow on one side made things really impossible. So this is effectively first light on the 585. First time I used it was 2 nights ago, or 2 afternoons ago. I did take darks, and sharp cap subtracts the darks automatically as it is stacking. I don't know if I dare take a quick look at PhD2. For some reason it loses the star and it goes berserk. I don't know if this is an artifact of yeah, I don't know what it's doing. Okay, I don't want to look at it. In the meantime, the stars are fairly round. This is going to be a gorgeous image by the time we're done with it. Hello, Paul. It looks like there are some dust mites on the lens or the mirror. Those ugly donut-like holes are usually dust on either the big front lens or somewhere internally on the mirror, on the reflective mirror. Taking flats and subtracting them usually takes care of these. I did not take any flats. I only took darks. So I shall suffer the consequence for now. So this is only 11 minutes of stacked data. And as we bring the M78 experiment or capture to an end, I'm going to give it 6 more frames. I'll stop at 40 minutes, save it. I'm going to hop over to M51 and run them side by side. And if anybody joined us joined us lately, I cannot get over that picture of the moon, of Jupiter's moon, Jupiter and its moon that I took this afternoon. Not just broad daylight, it was very bright sun. So I have some illusions of grandeur for tomorrow morning. The International Space Station is going to pass at around 7:58. That is broad daylight. I am going to try and capture it. With Jupiter, I had the luxury that Jupiter was not going anywhere. The ISS will blow by in under a second through the field of view of an 11-inch. And since at 8 a.m. I do not have the luxury of doing plate solving, so I intend to do the plate solving on the exact location, do that at around 5:30 a.m. and trust that the scope will not drift too far in 2 hours or 2.5 hours. DO crew You said you have an 8-inch Celestron. Did not ask you what mount it is on, if it's an AVX or a CJAM. With my CJAM mount was the only time I was able to reliably and repeatably take pictures of the International Space Station during broad daylight. I did not need to do any plate solving. I will just enter the coordinates and never once missed it. I was able to capture it repeatedly. The CGX is a much heavier mount, and I've had a lot more problems with it than I had with the CGM 2. Okay. I'm going to take leave to go look at the Seestar. I have a feeling it has wrapped the cord around itself repeatedly. Last time it did that and the cord was frozen solid to the table, it pulled it over. M51 don't need the filter. The battery on the Seestar has stopped charging. It has turned blue. Temperature outside is 11 degrees. Which puts us at minus 12, is it? Celsius. I'll be back. I'm gonna go check on the Seestar, make sure it is okay. I'll be right back. I am back, and the good news is the Seestar is still on the picnic table. It did not tangle itself and it did not fall over. Glider Rider, I have been trying to configure the Celestron to behave like the Seestar, and it's amazing to see that without any post-processing, the image that it is giving us at this point. When I say I'm trying to make it behave like the Seestar, it is polar aligned, and that's what I do with the Seestar. I initially aim it towards Polaris as the first thing it does in the night. Beyond that, it goes to a target, and then it plate solves right there and then to center the target. I'm using very, very short exposure. This is 8 seconds. Usually when I used before the advent of those smart scopes, I used to try to stack images or to capture images between 2 and 5 minutes long per exposure, per capture, to get as much into them as possible, and then stack them with Deep Sky Stacker, and then process them to death with Photoshop and Registacks and GIMP. Here what's going on is we're kept taking 8-second exposures. The auto guiding is lousy at best. For some reason PhD2 is not happy. It's all over the place. Okay, it found its star again. It lost the star. It finds the star. It loses the star. The main difference between a Seestar and a CGEM or CGX mount is that this one is equatorially mounted, so I don't have to worry about field rotation. And yes, the Celestron is quick. It's capturing 30 times as much light per frame compared to the Seestar. Okay. No. Okay. We're at only 25 minutes, 26 minutes of stack with the Celestron. I'm going to be anxious to see what I can do with the end result, the fits that comes out of it, if I can post-process it and what we can do with that. Sharp Cap allows you to choose if you want to save a 16-bit FITS file or native 8 bits per color FITS file. You have the option of saving raw frames. I'm not saving the raw frames here. And under Actions, you can save 16-bit stack, 32-bit stack. You can save it with the adjustments. Basically, you get what you see, or you can save it just raw and then do the processing afterwards, which is what I usually do. Among the tools that I have used over the years, Sharp Cap has been beyond amazing. The latest addition to the software is polar alignment of equatorial mounted scopes. You just point the scope to anywhere near Polaris to within several degrees, and it will guide you step by step to polar align it almost to perfection, which is what I did with this one. It is excluding bad frames automatically. I don't know if you can see down here, it has excluded 3 out of 219 were rejected. At the expense of Seestar for just a moment, it's not letting me move it up. Okay, never mind. I was trying to expand the Sharp Cap to the full frame. It did not let me. You do have the ability to save all the raw frames and then decide how to stack them. And you have it has rejected 4 out of 228. It may have been the plane that Seestar displayed. Now, as you look at the tools, It can show you histogram, it does polar align, it does sensor analysis, which is nice. Plate solve and resync. It has the ability to, given an image, if you just pick an image from somewhere on the web, save it on your hard drive, and ask Seestar to go to that target in the sky that looks like this image, it will do it. It has the focus assistant, which I use a lot. It has a seeing monitor. The live planetary stacking, I have to admit, DWARF has the best real-time live stacking of anything out there. And then it has the solar and lunar framing assistant. I give the prize here to Seestar. It is able to track the sun and the moon better than anything else. On Tuesday, I go back to Oswego to work on the 16-inch Meade. If I get that one working, 16 square is 256 compared to 11 square, which is 121. So the Meade is more than twice the light capturing capability of the 11-inch. I have not gotten to examining the optics yet. It's a 20-year-old telescope which has not been used much. I am finally able to have it go to anywhere I tell it to go to, with one minor problem. It cannot tell its head from its tail. It points to the targets from its rear end, as opposed to the lens, it's pointing from the camera end. And in doing my research to find out why it's doing that, I am finding that when it translates RA DEC into alt-az coordinates, it is sticking a minus on the altitude for some reason. Right now, the only three explanations could be wrong location, wrong time and date, or wrong mount. It thinks it is alt-az when it's actually polar mounted, equi-mounted. And I have not been able to find where it is flipping that minus. So that's going to be Tuesday's frustration. If we get that working, then the HOIS folks are going to have some extremely fine high resolution targets that I'll be imaging with it. It just rejected frame number 5 here out of 275. When we get to 9 p.m., both Seestar and Celestron will be attempting to capture Comet 62P Tsuchinshan. And then we'll go back and pay the moon another visit. Incidentally, the field of view of the Celestron with the ASI585 is only 8 minutes. When you look at this vertical, it's 8 minutes by 14 minutes. Looking at the stats of M51, M51 has a size of 14 minutes by 12 minutes, which is why we're losing a big chunk of it. M101 is going to be even more of a problem because it is 24 minutes by 23 minutes, so we will barely get half of it. M63, the Sunflower Galaxy, is a possibility. It's only 12 minutes by 7 minutes. When it comes to Seestar, I usually look for targets that are large enough to appear to make a difference in the field of view. In the case of the Celestron, it's the exact opposite. I'm trying to find targets that are small enough to fit in the field of view. These are the FITS files. That was the Celestron imaging, the Rosette Nebula, and I want to see what the header looks like. Notepad does not want to open it. Let's see if WordPad wants to open it. Where did we go? It's a 48 megabyte file. I don't know if you can see in the corner, it's 5% complete. We'll come back to it. I just want to see if the Python script will convert it into usable data for the HOIS program. It's stuck at 9%, so that's the end of that one. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. My first priority in processing the end product with M51 is to look at it with GIMP and see if I can stretch it, what I can do with histogram manipulation above and beyond what we are doing here. But for now we have 47 minutes of total exposure time. We will be stopping probably within the next 10 minutes to go over to Comet 62P. Yes, it is. Sydney, did you see the 3 new sunspots coming from the east on the sun? I believe it's 35, 91, 93 and 94. Looking forward to peeking at them tomorrow. I did not see the one up top. Don't know if I mentioned to you, I ordered a neutral density filter, a white light filter for my 11-inch. I am very keen on trying to look at those sunspots. The 3590 this morning inspired me to just, it pushed me over the edge and I placed the order. Thousand Oaks down in Arizona. They make the filters on order. They make them once you order them. So they say it'll be 10 days. And as soon as I have it, you guys will be the first to see what it does. Soho. Okay. So right now 3590 is smack in the middle with 91, 92 and 94. They have already moved inwards, so they should be visible tomorrow morning. I tried looking at them this morning, and even though I stacked, they were barely visible on the stacked image. You can catch it. It is online. This morning's video, and you can use the slider to fast forward to wherever you want to go, and skip the ads. For some reason, this histogram is extremely tight. Oh. It has stretch modes, whatever these mean. No. We're at 54 minutes stacked, so we'll be getting to an hour and then move on. Okay. Yeah, 3590 is beautiful. According to Soho, it has 24 spots, 24 sunspots in AR 3590. Sydney, what kind of camera settings shall I try to get the corona on April 8, other than possibly hitting it with every setting in the 3 minutes that we have? Okay. No worry. My guide camera keeps losing all the stars. They come and they go. No idea what's happening. We are at 58 minutes captured, so a couple more minutes. And we go comet hunting. So in theory, it would take Seestar 30 times longer to get a similar image as the Celestron. "60 minutes, we're gonna stop here. Save it as 16 bits, save it as 32 bits. And we're done. Watch stack. We're gonna stop the auto guide. And then go comet hunting. Find target, RA deck. It's 12. $39. And 10, 11. I just want to double check that it's not -10. No, this is 62p. Suchin Chan. Nope, there is no minus. 12:39 and 10:11. Okay, go to target. And this is where we do our plate solve. Please. Alright, that's gonna take a lot more than these. Ouch. That's not gonna be doable. I don't think it's gonna plate solve it. We cannot be 15 degrees off. Again, on a humid night, the moon is wreaking havoc with the sky. Let's see if this is any better. 55 sources is more reasonable. Okay. Bash 8500 does not work. Alright, let's see if we can just stack it. Okay, let's go see if Seestar is gonna do better for us. See, this is where there is a major disagreement between the Seestar database and what I pulled off the Sky Live. This one is showing 3 hours 28 minutes. I have 12 hours 39 minutes. That's way out. Totally different part of the world. Okay, we have the galaxy here. M63, let's live stack it. No comet for us tonight. Hey, be my guest. We have plenty of snow here if you want me to scope snow. Make sure you are looking east though. With my frozen dome, my telescope is limited to a very narrow field of view right now. The Seestar has much more latitude, if you want to call it that. It can go all the way from north to south. Well, the weather is going to be wild this week. They're talking about us getting all the way to 60 and then down to the teens and then back to the 60s in a matter of 3 days. If it is southwest, it's not doable. Let me check M1. Yeah, M1 will be a good target for the big scope. Yeah, it is at 238 azimuth. I have to figure out why the guide scope or the guide camera is misbehaving. I reinstalled PhD2 this afternoon, so it is the latest version. For those who are familiar with auto-guiding, this is not the kind of graph that you want to see. And you certainly don't want to see that flashing red light in the back. It keeps losing the guide star for some unknown reason, even though the stars are there and they are bright. There we go. The RMS error is 1.6 seconds, arc seconds, which is way too high. I'd like to be operating closer to the half arc second. Good evening, Mark. I had to find a target that was away from the moon. Would be nice if it were 29 million light years away from the moon. It probably is. Don't know if you have been on for a little bit and heard my rambling about a new camera that I'm testing. So far it has been mixed results. Probably the best result of the day was imaging Jupiter at noon and getting an incredibly nice picture. We did M51 earlier and it came out very nice. We imaged the moon, obviously. And now we're looking at M63, and that'll probably be it for the night. Yeah, these stars are elongated. As opposed to being round. Surprisingly, Seestar has very, very nicely rounded stars. Yes, over the years I have used a Canon EOS Rebel SL3, and then went from there to a ASI183MC, and last December I got a 585 color camera, and this week was the very first time. Two nights ago it was first light. I've been blown away by the quality of the camera. The 183 has 21 megapixels, the 585 has only 8 megapixels. Both give me about the same field of view. This one is 14 minutes by 8 minutes. 14 arc minutes by 8 arc minutes, which makes it all the more difficult to fit galaxies in it. I've been reminiscing to the point of whining about my 8-inch Edge HD on a C-Gem mount that I traded in for the 11-inch. I did not know about the supernova in M63. You know there's a supernova in NGC 4216 right now? What is NGC 4216 right now? Sydney, it's only, no, it is 30 degrees up, so it is high enough here. I wanted to see where NGC 4216 is. Near the moon, had to be. We might give it a try after this one, after 63. Yeah, this is the blue sky from the moon. No. So first thing tomorrow is to look to see if I can find those dust bunnies on the lens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Otherwise, I'm going to be forced to take flats. While we're waiting for those two scopes to do their business, I'm gonna pull a GIMP and see if we can examine the previous capture. Yes, this is the one. Uh-oh, that's not what I wanted. At this point, I'm going to try to align the individual colors. Looking at the histogram at the right. Let's start by moving blue a little bit. That's a good place for it. And then green. And then red. And then if we have to adjust those colors again, we can do that in a bit. And this is red. Now we can go back to all of them. We can attempt to do the auto input levels. Nope. We should have stopped one iteration earlier. But that is simple pushing things around with GIMP. And there is M63. It has rejected 17 frames out of 87. I have a Celestron lens cleaning kit that starts with a little air blower and then a tiny brush, and then anything that the blower and the brush do not remove. There is a liquid with a tiny piece of cloth. One morning, a couple of years ago, when I still had the 8-inch, after a very successful night of imaging, I went down in the morning to close things up, and I discovered that a snail had walked across the front lens, just the entire length of it. Cleaning that mess was not easy. That taught me the lesson not to leave the scope open overnight. So as soon as we're done here tonight, even though there are no snails in winter, I'll be going down to cover it. I don't want any bugs, I don't want any birds hitting it accidentally. But seeing the snail tracks across the objective was not fun. So we have about 20% rejection rate here, which is a lot higher than the one we had with the M51. We have a total of 20-minute exposure. I'm going to give it till 10 and then see if we can grab 4216 and look at the supernova. We imaged 4216 repeatedly with the Seestar and it came out very, very nice. I'm curious to see if we can image it with the big scope, with the big rig. The unfortunate news when it comes to the planets is that we're going to lose them till late spring. Before Jupiter and Saturn will appear again as morning planets. Right now Saturn is hugging the Sun, as is Mars and Venus and Mercury. We will be left soon with only Neptune and Uranus. I wonder where they are now. Neptune is below the horizon by a lot. And Uranus is due west right now, very close to Jupiter. So none of the planets is visible right now, at least from here. With a lot of luck, we will see Venus and Mars side by side tomorrow morning. I had a good time imaging Venus earlier this year, actually during the fall, as in its crescent phase. Now Venus is 90% lit. I have been spoiled with the Sharp Caps auto stacking or live stacking. This past two targets, M51 and M63, have been impressive. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, 4 hours, 2-minute subs. That's what I used to do. Used to take multiple nights of the same target. Do you use deep sky stacker to stack it, DSS? Okay. I have not used serial except other than to pre-process images for HOIs. And I only use it in an automated script manner. A Python script that imports the images taken by Seestar, pre-processes them with the serial and then passes them to AstroPy and then ships them over to England. I should probably learn how to use it. Somehow the images taken with the Celestron look three-dimensional. This one, the center of the galaxy looks like it is a light at the end of a tunnel. Yeah. So are you planning to go up to the Northeast Astronomy Forum in April? Okay, it is 10 o'clock. We're gonna take leave of M63. And see if we can get the supernova. I'm going to let Seestar continue with stacking M63. Seestar has already seen the supernova, so there's nothing new here. Now, big question is, does CBWI know of NGC 4216? Yes, it does. Okay, go there then. What's the likelihood that it will plate solve it successfully? Well, it is right there. So I'm not gonna bother with plate solving at this point. Just wanna find the right exposure. We're very close to the moon. Uh-oh. Okay. Did not know about the white dwarf. Thank you. I don't know if it's gonna stack here. Yucky. Okay, it's rejecting the frames. Very high frame rejection rate, but there's a supernova. It's right here. And I have no idea what those sound wave looking black dashes are. %50 frame rejection rate. We're not gonna have a happy outcome tonight. Nine stacked, 10 rejected. Don't know if we go shorter, if that's gonna help. Nope. Longer. Well, we're sitting near the sun. That is the big problem. I'm pushing my luck and trying to live stack a target that is near the sun. No, it's not gonna make it. Okay, so it looks like it is time to wish you all a good night and to thank you for joining me on what has been an interesting evening. The moon is certainly beautiful, but it ruins the night for us. So I'm going to turn everything off in an orderly manner, and we'll see what tomorrow morning brings, if we can get Mars and Venus side by side. Good night, Mark. Good seeing you. Mike, nice meeting you, and good night. Thanks, Sydney. Thanks, Charles. Larry, thank you. I'm sure we will see you again. The weather this week is going to be uppity and downity, but if the sky is clear, you can bet I will be on. Okay, cameras off. File exit. And I need to figure out why this PhD2 is not happy. Alright, we need to park this guy so I won't have to realign it. Thanks, Larry. After having 5 cloudy weeks in January, things have been much better in February. And you probably heard me talk a lot about April 8. I'm going to be in Oswego carrying the solar eclipse live with multiple telescopes from there. Okay. Seestar. Connected. Shut down.